down. I did not shut it down. It shut down on its own. It didn't run very well. The engine had cut off at around 170,000 feet after a 77-second burn, but inertia propelled his craft toward apogee, toward his target of 62 miles above Earth, or 328,000 feet. This was the Kármán line, named for Hungarian physicist Theodor von Kármán, and widely accepted as the altitude above the Earth's sea level, representing the start of space. "Start the feather up," came the call from Doug Shane. The feather was the rocket plane's secret weapon, wings that bent in half to add drag, aeronautical concept designer Burt Rutan's promising but still unproven invention for delivering man and machine back to Earth. Rutan was a master of the improbable, creating flying machines out of unconventional composite materials and surfboard technology, moving wings forward and engines back, and delighting in defying symmetry and being a creative battering ram to establishment aerospace. But he had zero experience sending people to space. There were times in the program, especially on days like today, when Rutan thought to himself, "This is really out there. We are absolutely crazy to be taking this kind of risk." "Feather unlocked. Feather coming," Melvill said as the white rocket rotated in the thin air. "Trying to get it upright." Melvill had flown 9,500 hours in more than 150 different types of planes, even piloting one whimsical Rutan design by riding on top of it like a jockey rides a horse. But he had never encountered the violent power of a rocket. He peered out the small, round, double-paned plastic portholes. There were 16 9-inch diameter windows around the nose. The inside window was made of plexiglass, and the outside was the even stronger polycarbonate. During the building and testing phase, Rutan handed his pilots welding axes and challenged them to break the windows. It was around 8 a.m. in California, and from near the top of his parabolic arc, Melvill could see frothy clouds along the Los Angeles coastline, browns and beiges of the desert, the shimmery coast of Baja California, and the forests and mountains of the Sierra Nevada. Enormous peaks that from this height looked as flat as the desert to the south. The clouds were varied in shades of white, platinum, and gray. Wisps turned thicker, like silvery cloth, and waves of ethereal gray rolled in the sky like waves on an open ocean. Lakes and sinewy rivers glistened liquid gold. The Earth's thin blue line looked 1,000,000 miles away. He now understood why astronauts were forever changed by Earth-gazing, by taking in how fragile and beautiful this little blue marble looked from above. Melvill was not far from the skies above Edwards Air Force Base, where they had been given permission to fly in the tightly restricted area known as 2515. Edwards was the dry, hot, isolated Valhalla of test pilots and the Mecca of experimental planes, the place where the sonic boom was born, where pilots were tested for skill and mettle, and some of the world's fastest, most powerful planes were let out to gallop. Melvill watched the energy height predictor, an instrument that gave a digital readout of the final altitude the plane would reach once the engine was off. His friend and mentor, Albert "Scotty" Crossfield, the first pilot to fly twice the speed of sound, and the pilot with the most experience flying the military's X-15, a matte black brute of a rocket plane that in 1963 first reached an altitude of 100 kilometers, told him he would feel disoriented after lighting the rocket motor and pulling back on the stick. "You will think the nose is coming up and you're going to go over on your back," Crossfield told him. Everyone in the X-15 felt that. "Doing a good job with RCS," Doug Shane said of the cold gas.